رادکا ماکسووا، نایب رئیس کمیسیون برابری و حقوق زنان در پارلمان اروپا. خانم رجوی زندگی خود را وقف ایران آزاد و دموکراتیک کرده است و رهبری باسابقه ترین و سازمان یافته ترین ائتلاف اپوزیسیون ایران علیه رژیم، شورای ملی مقاومت ایران را بر عهده دارد. در حال سازماندهی و رهبری کانون‌های شورشی در سراسر کشور در جهت پیشبرد مبارزه برای یک جمهوری دموکراتیک در ایران هستند. شعار امروز به زن، مقاومت، آزادی تبدیل شده است، زیرا زنان ایرانی ارزش مقاومت در برابر ستم را نمایندگی می‌کنند. پارلمان و شورای اروپا و کشورهای عضو باید این واقعیت را به رسمیت بشناسند و از برنامه خانم رجوی حمایت کنند که راهی به جلو برای زنان، دختران و مردم ایران به منظور تحقق آرزوها و شکل دادن به آینده کشورشان ارائه می‌دهد.
Madam President, elected dear colleagues, welcome to today's meeting. Thank you for joining us for a timely discussion on what the EU and we in this Parliament should do to support the brave women and girls in Iran who are protesting for their rights and better future. They face a brutal regime whose domestic repression is built on misogyny. And what better to address this topic, appropriate steps and avenue of cooperation than our main speakers and guest, Mrs. Rajavi, who joined us via video link. She has devoted her life to a free and democratic Iran and is leading the most experienced and organized Iranian opposition coalition to the regime, the National Council of Resistance of Iran. Mrs. Rajavi is the president-elected of the National Council of Resistance of Iran for the transitional period. She lost many of her colleagues and friends in the 50-year struggles against the dictatorship, including 6 members of her family. She was a leader of the student movements in the Shah's era. Her 10-point plan advocates a democratic republic for Iran based on gender equality, separation of religion and state, abolition of the death penalty, and a non-nuclear Iran. So welcome. It is a great honor. We look forward to hearing your remarks. Women and girls constitute over half of Iranians' population, but are excluded from the society as second-class citizens in their own country, a serious concern with the UN Special Rapporteur for Iran mentioned in his latest report. As he also reported, the regime is executing women and even juvenile offenders. Authorities carried out of 853 executions last year, the highest number since 2015, as protests continue and expand in the country. Also last month, the UN Fact Mission concluded in its report that institutional discrimination against women and girls enable human rights violations and crimes against humanity in the context of recent protests. The report also documents case of women and girls being subjected to rape and other forms of sexual and gender-based violence as part of the state crackdown on protests. But the brave women and girls are getting organized and leading resistance units across the country to advance the fight for a democratic republic in Iran. The slogan today has become Women, Resistance, Freedom, because Iranian women represent the value of resisting against tyranny. The Council Member states and the Parliament should recognize this reality and endorse Mrs. Rajavi's plan, which offers a way forward for the Iranian women, girls and people to realize their aspiration and shape the future of their country. We must also do more to end impunity in Iran by making sure those responsible are prosecuted under the existing UN mechanism. Today, we have with us as well colleagues who would like to join the discussion, and with us as well representatives of the Women's and Youth Association in European country. We welcome you, representatives of Iranian European Association from France, Sweden, Switzerland, Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg.
پتراس استراویچیوس، زنان ایران در عمل بسیار قوی و توانمند و عامل بسیار تعیین کننده‌ای در تغییر وضعیت ایران هستند. به همین دلیل از شما خانم رجوی به خاطر ابتکارات، انرژی و رهبریتان بسیار سپاسگزارم.
Javi, best regards from Brussels once again. We are reconnected and we continue our dialogue and we exchange our views, which is very important. You know, there is no lack in today's world for hot spots or troubles or conflicts and places where human rights are violated ultimately and continuously in spite of all our efforts and calls for settlement and finding solutions. So Iran is one of those places. Let's be clear. It's not just the domestic crimes against own citizens, as citizens are taken out the voice, the political rights and rights for political expression. And indeed, repressions are something which must be even more highlighted by all activists and all by us. I mean, in particular, public executions, which is indeed a phenomenon maybe centuries ago, but not anymore. But when you see political leadership of the country, I don't know how this fight for freedom in Iran will take. But there is a need for young people to get involved, to understand, to support, to share, and to, you know, go along with this fight. You have to learn, I mean, young ones from the fight of your fathers and maybe grandfathers. So this is something what is not necessarily in the handbooks, but it's taught by history, it's taught by life. And it's simply a matter of responsibility and be a kind of empowerment by history. So that's why I appreciate this, and I hope that indeed Iranian women who are very strong, who are very powerful in speaking and acting, will be a very decisive factor in changing situation in Iran. I believe in it. I mean, it might take time, only time, but there is no chance for oppression and this, black ages, I mean, to prevail over the nation, which deserves absolutely different future. So that's why thank you very much, Madame Rajavi, for your initiatives, for your energy and leadership. And I hope for the next Parliament, European Parliament, to be as active as possible, because we have no right, I mean, to shy away. Thank you.
لئوپولدو لوپز خیل: خدا را شکر می کنم که زنان شجاعی مانند شما را داریم. روی حمایت من برای آزادی ایران و زنان ایران حساب کنید.
I have no need to be convinced of the value of women in politics or in any charge in life. I come from a family that suffered the persecution of political tyrants. My grandfather was exiled from Venezuela, and it was my grandmother who took care of the rest of the family, her sons. All of them became great professionals. I can only say that I give thanks for God that we have courageous women like yourself. And you can count on my support for the freedom of Iran, and particularly for the freedom of the women of Iran. Thank you very much for your service.